All right, everyone. So today I got my spanner thin wrench set from Boxo USA, and this one is going to be a 13 piece, and it runs you all the way from 6 millimeter all the way to 32 millimeter. One thing I do like about this wrench set, and I feel that a lot of companies are starting to do, is that the 22 millimeter size is also attached to the 24, and then you see 22 millimeter here attached to the 20 millimeter. These are going to be two of the more common sizes you usually run into where you're going to need them back to back. And it's nice that they put them on the same wrench so you can just flip it rather than having to get a whole other wrench and having more tools out than you need. Now, this tool set does come in what they refer to as their CNC EVA foam. So everything fits neatly in here. I'm not going to be using this foam holder because I'm going to use my alien space savers that I have. That way I can maximize the space in my wrench drawer. Prior to this set, I did have an Amazon set. And as I said before, having a tool is better than not having a tool at all. But decided to upgrade, had that other set, and it was great. Got me out of a lot of tight spots. And now I felt that I needed to upgrade. If you want the part number for this set, that's the part number right there. It is going to be BX541-R2. And right now, during Memorial Day weekend, Boxo does have a promotional where you can get 15% off as well as free shipping. I'm not sponsored by them and I'm definitely not affiliated with them at all, but just some general information. If you do want this set and you can't get it right now, if you are military, veteran, first responder, I believe, you can get 15% off through their ID Me section. And the only difference is you just don't get free shipping, but you still get 15% off. But it's a great set, and I definitely like it. And I do have my Amazon one here. And here's the 14 and 16. So I'm going to pull out the 14 millimeter here. So hold them side by side. As far as thickness goes, they look about the same to me. I don't have a micrometer with me to like actually measure it out, but there is that. And if you notice, there is a gap down here. And again, it's an Amazon tool set, so it's not like you're gonna get anything crazy, but this wrench is work, and that's how it came out of the box. Put a video right there so you can see. But anyways, their quality control obviously is not going to be the great. But as I said, like in the beginning, it's better to have a tool than not have a tool at all. And this one does have a dual size per open jaw. 14 millimeters is going to be the inner one, 16 the outer one, and corresponding to the image here. It does have the little anti-slip teeth here, but honestly, I think they're just more for show. They don't have the same proprietary technology like or feature that other wrenches that have that, as predominant in this one. So I think this is more for show, more of a sale gimmick than an actual like benefit of the wrench. Because again, you have a very small bite point since it does do two sizes per open jaw. So I can't really see this working or functioning properly. And even when I was using these, it didn't really do much of a difference. I will, however, say that, not sure if this is the right terminology, but when it comes to sockets, the broaching as far as play. On this one, it had very little play and it actually did a great job at holding things in place. I just wish that it had had more of a surface area for that bolt or nut to hold on to, just because it made a little nerve wracking to know that I could potentially strip or round off that nut bolt. But again, great set for the price. I'll be putting the link in the description if anybody wants to get it as a starter set. But again, definitely a good starter set, not something that I would recommend for long-term use. And again, comparison to the Boxo, I get an entire open jaw to it. And it's nice that I can have a bigger set. While you can save space because this one had two sizes per open jaw and it meant having less wrenches, you got to also consider the quality and durability of the tool itself. But with this one, I'm definitely going to do a long-term review in a few months. I do a lot of brake jobs and I want to see what, again, not sure if it's the right term, but the broaching for these open end wrenches is going to be like when I utilize it in other cars and all that. Now I live in the desert, so I don't really run into a lot of rust, but I do occasionally run into vehicles that do have a lot of rust buildup, and I do my best to clean the surface before I use these wrenches. But I want to be able to see how efficient this ones actually work with that type of scenario. Not to say that this is a terrible company, but I do feel that these companies sometimes test their equipment on, for lack of better words, predetermined scenarios, or scenarios that kind of like maximize the use of the tool. Which again, nothing wrong with that. You want to make sure your tool is going to perform the best that it can under certain conditions. But being a tech, we don't run into the perfect conditions. We run into conditions that you normally would not see otherwise. But like I said, I'll be doing the long term view on this. And if you guys have any questions, definitely put them down in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. This is the first time I've bought anything from this company, so I can't say much about their reliability or durability. I'm sure that searching it would tell me some information, but I went with this because, again, they had that special going on and I wasn't going to pass up that deal. On that same note, they do come with some nice deep rolled stamps, and I am always happy to have wrenches that have this. I don't mind if they come with the laser etching, but I prefer the roll stamp. And I'm also going to be color coding these. I have not decided what color yet. And the follow-up video to this one is going to be showing how I do my color coding and the method and process that I utilize to make it stick and actually be long lasting. And I'm also going to show the other side of it. If it doesn't have a deep roll stamp, how you can still paint it and make sure that you get the maximum amount of, color coding inside that roll stamp if it's not that deep. Now, if you want to keep your tools clean, which I always do, use Zep towels. They are double-sided. One side is coarse and the other one is soft. And I've had zero issues with these towels. They're great for cleaning tools and maintaining them, and it doesn't rub away the actual like paint itself or anything like that. I'm gonna grab this black one real quick, but again, great company. And as you can see, it's oil based and quick drying. I usually leave these things maybe for 30-40 minutes. It completely dries, and then I wipe it off with some goo off, or if you want to use brake clean, but it just depends on what you want to use. I prefer goo off for this ones. And I've had zero issues with any of the paint markings rubbing off, especially from my sockets or my ratchets. It definitely still stays on there, and I'm sure it will fade over time, but that's more of a long-term problem than, like something that I'm gonna run into immediately. But anyways, like I said, this is the wrench set that I just got. So if you guys have any questions, definitely ask and I'll do my best to answer them. Keep an eye out for that video of the color coding as well as the long-term review for this wrench set. Aside from that, you guys have a great Memorial Day weekend and stay safe out there.